Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Icon here. Thank you so much for checking out another episode of Esports Analysis. Today, I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to break down this matchup. It happened on the very first day, but it's one that really stood out to me because this is a map and mode that Atlanta was previously undefeated on, and they got absolutely obliterated. So I kind of wanted to go through and really diagnose, really analyze why. What happened? What exactly went wrong for them? Whereas every other team they played on this map and mode, they were able to beat, and why were New York able to get the best of them? I feel like every once in a while we'll see something like this. It's quite a surprise, and we don't really dive into it too much. Well, you know what? Atlanta had a bad map. We'll just move on. That's really not what they do. But I wanted to break this one down just because it's something that really stood out for me. So first thing that I'll notice real quick, and probably, I don't know if you've been watching what's happening inside the hill, but Mac and Zuma, the two SMGs, or two of the SMGs, have been doing a really nice job of getting kills inside the hardpoint. So Mac, Temp, Zuma, they all have 4, 4, and 2 already. So just to start here, the two things that they did really well, and this is one of the things that I hate when I see this from a lot of teams. But the first thing that they did really well is that they were able to get kills inside of P1 and get the majority of that time. The second thing that they were able to do is they were also able to hold down those spawns. Now, spawns have flipped, so they were pushed out from behind. Looked like Celium flanked all the way around, was able to kill them on back bar, and now he is back here, and he's really going in, but he's kind of the only one, right? As you were watching him battling in that back left bar corner, his teammates were getting a ton of kills inside the current hardpoint. Temp has already doubled what he had just a couple seconds ago. Temp now has 9. So that kind of tells you the presence that he had inside of P2. Now, as we're rotating, you just saw... So let's go ahead. Let's pause this real quick. You just saw basically what's going to end up controlling this is that Mac is over here, and he was able to kill the first person on rotation, which was Priesta. And essentially what that did is now that's allowing his teammates to push out through Water's Edge, to push out by line, by ambulance through mid. And as this is about to rotate from P2 to P3, they are going to be set up, even though there was only one of them, right? Their whole team didn't rotate first, but one of them was able to kind of cut things off a little bit. And now it's just a battle for, obviously New York is inside the hard point, but they don't really have spawns yet, and you just saw it. So I know this is the problem with like a lot of the casters is that they're always paying attention to a lot of what's going on inside the hard point. But right here, you just saw a win. So Zuma right there was able to kill Celium right here in the kill feed. Once Zuma killed Celium, that immediately spawned a Attach back here. So they went from getting time inside of P2, and now that it's on rotation, they're going to have spawns for P3. And this is one where if you can just get a couple kills, man, Zuma is going off. We've seen quite a few kills like that from him so far. But now it's going to be, can you push forward a little bit and get those kills up towards mid-map so that it's not quite a battle inside the hardpoint? And that's what the battle's for right now. You can see Atlanta is pushing this outside edge. Zuma again, Zuma another with 2-piece. And again, so now let's pause this real quick. There's 24 seconds left in the current hardpoint, right? Because of the slaying power from Zuma and Attach and a couple other people, Temp, in this P3 hardpoint, if you look at the minimap, bottom left-hand corner again, you can see Temp is already set up in P4. There are 24 seconds left in the current hardpoint. I know I just scribbled all over it, but I was just trying to direct your attention there. There's 24 seconds left, and he's essentially just going to try to trust his other 4 teammates inside of P3. And, well, let's see if they can hold it off. While, you know what, I'm going to rotate early so that we can get all of this time also. So I don't like, why are we, so if you're thinking about this from like a player point of view or from an observer point of view, why do we spend so much time on Temp there? He's already set up. There was nobody near him. So let's just see the action that's inside the last hard point, and the last 5 or 6 seconds right there went to Atlanta. And this is another really big thing here. We talk about this all the time in my breakdowns, is that if you have P4 and you're going to be getting this back spawn over here, or maybe you're spawning P2, either way, you really don't want to be taking battles in this range right here. Because if you lose that team battle at that range, at that part of the map, you're going to end up at least having your hardpoint contested, and it's possible that you get overran there. So if you can get out kind of in this area, that's much better, right? Now, look at where, now I know a lot of people went down, but this is where the first battles were taking place for New York, basically right outside of P3. And that's great because even though Attach and who else was up there, Attach and Mac died, when they spawned back up, let's say, let me get rid of some of these lines. Let's say they spawn right here. By the time these people meet again, they'll be able to get back into another team fight before Atlanta's been able to get anywhere near P4. So all you're really doing is you're just guaranteeing yourself a better, or not guaranteeing, but you're giving yourself a better chance of winning those team gun battles. And if you win them, you can then keep them spawning on the opposite side of the map. And that's essentially what they were trying to do. So now that they've lost that first team battle, look at the time in the top middle. There's 30 seconds left in the current hardpoint. So by the time Atlanta, even though they only lost one team fight, by the time Atlanta was able to recover and actually get somewhere close to the hardpoint, half of the time in the current hardpoint went off. So what did New York do so well right here? They pushed out towards mid-map. Even though they lost that team fight, it took Atlanta 20, 25 seconds to even get somewhere close to P4, and then once it became a battle inside of P4, they were able to clean it up. They got the majority of that time. They got basically all of that time, and now it's 170 to 29. So how is this happening? Yes, they're rotating early, but if we want to go through and we want to talk about this, again, minimap bottom left-hand corner, when it rotated from P1 to P2, Atlanta had that spawn, right? Celium was able to flip spawn. Celium was spawning in this area right here. So they should have been able to overtake and gotten the time on P2. That's not what happened. They won the team gunfights, right, inside of P2. Then as it went to P3, New York was rotating on this side. Atlanta was rotating on this side. And what happened? When it came back, there was a big gun battle right here on the map. As soon as Zuma won that gun battle, I think it was Attached that spawned back here, and then they won that. So they're winning the key gun battles, and then Temp rotated early. Temp was inside of P4, and then as New York was rotating from this side of the map, they were able to get kills in mid-map, and by the time Atlanta could push up into P4, they were able to take 30 seconds off the clock already. So how has this happened? How has this unfolded? Every time there's a critical gun battle, New York has been winning it. And again, this is just smart strategy. Now, if you look, it does look like Simp is breaking through. So for P5, you still want to hold this back spawn because you want to get time for P5, you want to get time for P1, and you want to get time for P2. Best way to do that is to hold the right-hand side of the map. But you'll notice that they don't have a bunch of people back there, right? They don't have somebody up here. They don't have somebody blue courtyard. They don't have somebody, right? None of these spots are being controlled right now, which leaves you up for a flank, right? It's possible that you get flanked. But what I really like is I like that they were pushed up outside on this side of the hardpoint. If you're on the left side of the hardpoint and you know that Atlanta's spawning over here or back in this area, then you can get kills in these choke points right here before they can even get close. That's a lot of what I wanted to point out in this video, is that you can get a lot of kills in these choke points before the enemy can actually get anywhere near your hardpoint. And if you're successful at doing that, that's how you have a 190 to 37 lead. So right there, Temp just died. When Temp came up off the spawn, they still spawned back by P4. There's 20 seconds left in the current hardpoint, and you can see in the bottom left that Temp and Accuracy 3 and 4, and now Mac just spawned there. They're already inside the hill for P1 as it's about to rotate. So if you're Atlanta, you're just kind of, I'm just watching where their arrows are going. They are getting the last few points, but Atlanta is selling out all of their resources inside of P1. And I know that they kind of have to do that right now just because they're down by so much. But that's the first time right there that I just saw Priesta and I saw Simp push out mid. So as we were watching this, Priesta and Simp were right here. And as that was rotating to P1, they pushed out this side of the map, and now they're pinching it from behind. And what that's going to allow them to do is set up these spawns, and it's easy to hold from this side also, right? You only have 2 choke points to watch. You just watch this left if you're inside of P1, I'm talking about now, and you watch up top. That's it. So if you hold this back spawn, now you're set up for P1 and you're also set up for P2. This is the first time where we've really seen them win the gun battles and then be able to rotate early. Now, once you get spawns, you have to win the gun battles inside the hill, right? That's not like the end of it. It's not like they're just going to give up and say, okay, we lost spawns, we're going to give up. You can see in the kill feed, Mac with the 3-piece right there, temp, accuracy. It's the whole kill feed has been yellow, which is something that's, he was going for the knife there, but it's something that's just really weird to see. It's really unusual to see against Atlanta because their SMGs do such a nice job of slaying out and being aggressive and constantly putting pressure on the enemy team and pushing them back, that when it happens to them, it just kind of takes you by surprise. And I really wanted to explain why it was happening. And a lot of it is just where the gun battles are taking place. And when it comes down to clutch up and let's win this rotation, the SMGs for New York are doing it. Now, this is where they're able to get a little bit of time. And it started with their ability to rotate and win the spawns. Yeah, they didn't get the time inside of P1, but as this was rotating, actually this will be a nice time to pause this right here. Remember, as this was rotating from P5, they were able to push through, they were able to pinch. They didn't get time inside of P1, but they were able to set up spawns. And now that they have up spawns, they did have this back spawn. You can see that Tempa right there just killed a BZ. So these spawns are being pushed out. And while they have presence in Courtyard and inside of P2, we'll see if they'll be able to hold it or not. There are 37 seconds left, so we'll see what happens. But this is where all the action's going to go down, right? Right in here and right in there. So if New York is able to push through either side here, then they'll probably end up winning the map here. And if they're not, it'll rotate again to P2, from P2 over to P3. So I actually really like seeing the minimap like that. We don't get to see it very often, but it does a really nice job of being able to explain what's happening. And just like that, temp, Mac, accuracy, everybody gets kills inside the hard point. There's 22 seconds left. New York can win on this hard point right here. Accuracy has this power position here, and where Atlanta was spawning, he's going to be able to shoot him in the back. There's one, there's two, there's one mid, a 3-piece from accuracy. That was a little bit of bad luck, right? Let's go ahead and I just got a new keyboard and it doesn't have arrow keys, so I was just hitting the function and trying to find it. But let's explain this real quick. So when they got everybody down inside of P2, unfortunately, so I don't want to say unfortunately because this was planned a little bit, but they got this spawn here. So with only 10 or 15 seconds left, they had no choice but to try to push in through one of these two routes. And when they did, accuracy was up above them, right? Accuracy was sitting up here on top of P4, and he was just able to shoot them in the back. But one thing you might be saying is that why did they get that spawn over by P1, right? That's the spawn that we don't see very often. Normally, if New York is spawning down here, then Atlanta would spawn on this side of the map, right? They'd be spawning over here by Water's Edge and trying to push one of these two lanes. Why didn't they get that spawn? The whole reason is because once they got control of the hard point, Mac pushed up and he blocked this spawn. You can see the number 2 arrow right there. So if you're thinking about game logic, they couldn't have put him right here, and they couldn't have put them over here. So the only place that was left is somewhere mid courtyard or over by P1. The game gave them the P1 spawn, and at this point, they were just hoping. You can see Celium's already on rotation. You can see the 7 white arrow right there. So Celium was already on rotation. He's just hoping that those that were pushing were going to be able to get in for like 5 seconds. If they could have gotten in for 5 seconds, then that would have rotated to P3. Then they could have potentially started to have a little bit of things go their way, but that's just not what happened because of Accuracy's positioning here. So, an unbelievable beatdown. Let's go back just a couple seconds because I do want to see the scoreboards while they were up in the top left and top right-hand corner. This isn't the final, right? There were some more kills that came in, but if you look at the right-hand side, Priesta, double negative, 8 and 16 right here. Everybody, Major Maniac, -6, Celium, -6, Simp, who had a 49 bomb and a 50 bomb, was 12 and 15. Abizi was 16 and 20. Every single person from Atlanta was negative, and sometimes that's just how it goes, right? Sometimes you just don't have a very good map. When you look on the other side, I mean, look at some of these numbers. You have Attach, 19 and 7, Mac +5. He had 23 kills. He had more kills, or he had right around the same number of kills as Priesta had interactions, deaths and kills combined. So that just shows how aggressive he was playing, how up in the other team's face he was. Temp, 17 and 10. So when we're looking at the scoreboard, yeah, they were in position, but it seemed like every single time there was a clutch or there was a critical gun battle, New York was able to win that team battle, and that's how they ended up getting this really impressive victory over Atlanta. So if you're new around here and you enjoy these types of breakdowns, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. If you guys have any comments on this whatsoever, again, put them down below. I'm really excited to see the interactions and hear what you guys have to say. So if you have any comments, make sure you put them down below. Leave a like before you head on your way, and thank you guys so much for all of the support recently. I will catch you in tomorrow's upload.